Serious, what are your find hot MILFs in your area stories? I have a side job as a real estate agent. One day I was showing some rich single guy in his early 30s a condo. And the listing agent was the typical high-end broker, late 40s, plastic surgery, tons of makeup, fake boobs, white Porsche Cayenne. As we went back, he told me I really like the place with the MILF. 36 days later he owned the property. 6 months later I saw he bought another one of her properties. A year later they were married. How that happened I still never know. My buddy was always raving about wanting to hook up with older women. I think it is because he watched so much MILF porn when he was a teen. Now he is in his early 20s. After a breakup, he decided to go down to what is known as the Cougar Bar, which is really just a higher-end restaurant bar sort of place with a reputation. He asked me to come along and even offered to buy my drinks, so I agreed. Sure enough, he started getting attention almost immediately. It was not long until he was off talking to a group of 4 ladies in tiny dresses while I chilled with my beer and played on my phone. I did not have to play wingman, which was a relief. An hour had passed and he came by to tell me he had locked it down and was leaving to smash. I saw the woman and she was honestly quite beautiful, blonde, about 5'4", with a tanned and curvy body and slim waist, probably late 40s. He told me I should try my luck, but I went home. The next morning he comes home and tells me his story. First of all, he got grossed out because her body did not look like the women he saw in porn. There were a lot of fat bulges, his words that he did not know were a thing. He claimed that the dress she was wearing morphed her real figure, which I found hard to believe. Then, he said it was a lot more hairy than he expected. He kept getting aroused but then something would turn him off. So basically he spent an hour making out and trying to maintain an erection, but could not do it. The woman was hurt, so he spent another 2 hours consoling her. At the end, she made them a midnight steak dinner and they just went to sleep. He said he is undeterred and wants to try again sometime soon. Went to a local watering hole for a beer and wings on a Sunday afternoon. Sat at the bar and a few seats down is a fairly attractive woman wearing a cougar print shirt, very short skirt, and hot red lipstick. Halfway through my first beer she asks if she could sit closer. I say sure, talks my ear off for 10 minutes, then asks if I could give her a ride home. I oblige cause I am a gentleman. First thing she does when we walk into her apartment to show me what she does for work. She runs a website that sells Nazi items. Doesn't deter me. I hadn't smashed in a while. She then turns on music, tells me it's her favorite band, Air Supply. We start kissing and right in the middle of us getting naked she full breaks into I am all out of love, basically screaming it in the most out of tune way possible. I start thinking that it's weird, so I make up some excuse to leave. I am almost out the door when she hands me a gold rimmed plate with Jesus' face on it, so I will remember her. I was dumb enough to give her my real number. Got 10 calls and 3 voicemails that night. 30 years ago, the hot MILF found me. One day when I was out training on my bike, back in my bike racing days, she just pulled up alongside me as I was riding and basically said I looked real good in that spandex and would I like to follow her, then duck her. Good God, she was a ducking beautiful Italian woman with a nearly endless sexual appetite. It like was winning the 20-year-old male fantasy lottery. I thought that sort of thing did not happen in real life until it happened to me. Turns out, she was also the manager of the local seafood restaurant, so she had literally feed me, duck me, then kick me out. At that time, I basically could eat a functionally unlimited amount of food every day and was ravenously hungry almost all the time, so it was pretty much the best thing ever. When you are training 25-40 hours a week on the bike, I did not own a car for the 6-year stretch. So, sure, I can spend 1-3 hours a day 3-4 times a week having sex and eating before or after for an hour a day, often while looking in the mirror and having her compliment how ducking hot we looked the whole time. She was my summer Mamma Mia. I have never in my life had a stomach so full and balls so empty. To be 20 again. Not exactly hot MILF in your area story, but about 15 years ago I signed up for a matchup website. I will be honest, part of me did it for shit and giggles, but if something good came from it, so be it, Anyways, you could not specify a certain age, but you could add you were open for a relationship with someone older, which I did. I was 27 at the time, so imagine my surprise when I got a request for a meetup with a 33 years old woman. 5 years might not sound as much, but believe me, she was way ahead of me. We meet up on a nice cafe and talk for a while. It was an uneventful night. She was nice, looked good, and I think she thought I was good too, because despite not being a particularly great night, she agreed to my invitation for a next date. I wanted to impress her, so I proposed a karaoke bar that had a very relaxed ambient. I pulled my best repertoire and that seemed to do the trick, because we hit it off. She told me she was divorced, had recently split from his marriage and was living with her dad and her little girl. She seemed to think I would run away because she had a daughter, but I was okay with that. On the next date she invited me to the movies, and I am sure you will understand if I tell you I do not remember anything about the movie. Things were pretty good because I did not have to interact with her dad or her kid. She called me when she had time and I spent a couple of nights at her place. Then the first incident happened. We were going at it in her bed, huffing and puffing so to speak, and out of the blue she asks me to sing her. Right then, at the ear, thought she was joking, but her eyes pierced into my soul when she told me again, sing me now, so I complied. I tried not to think too much into it, but bothered me for a while until I almost forgot about it. Then the second incident happened. We were going back to her place one night, and suddenly she went livid and pulled me to the side, almost into an alleyway. I was kinda confused but waited until she calmed down. Apparently she has not been sincere about the whole divorce. They were not living together, but still married, and he was trying to fix things. Also, he had a gun and a bad temper, according to her. There was no third incident, neither another date. My ex used my phone after he broke his. After a while of him hoarding it from me, I took it back. Every 35 seconds I did get emails from MILFs, no, and so on. I knew he gave my phone horny worm but did not really care since I am phone savvy. I looked at his debit card to see if my money went on it yet for an order, and saw all kinds of charges, ranging from $5.50. He disputed all fraudulent charges and I thought that was the end of that. We broke up and I downloaded Tinder, but it kept auto-logging into his account. We had been dating since middle school years and have a baby, and the account very much predated the breakup. Oh, and I found a fake Facebook account on my phone. He made an account with the name Rob Lee, like Robert T. Lee, and sent a dick pic with a long message saying he wanted to passionately make love to my mother and to a few very known local crack whores. Less passion, more DTF. You cannot make this shit up. Needless to say, my current boyfriend is indefinitely better. This happened during the unforgettable year in which me and my best friend were both single. He was in a 5-year relationship prior to that while I started to date my current girlfriend 1 year later. We went to an after party and noticed that there were an unbelievable number of MILFs there, and he was always into that, so he instantly hooked up with one in the bathroom. He told me a ton of stories which made me want to try to hook up with one myself, so he ended up going to the same after party the following week. I met a really nice lady, 45. She was beautiful and had the body of a 20-year-old. We made out in the bathroom and then she invited me to her place, but her phone's battery was dead so she could not order an Uber. I told her I would pay for it, asked for the address, and that is when I found out that she lives right next to me. That club was like 3 cities away from our town. So that was a huge coincidence, but the problem is that I was so drunk and on meth that I did not think or care and just went. When we got to her place, she lived on the apartment next to the one I lived on. At that time I realized that her daughter is home and I ducking know her. We used to talk a lot when we were walking our dogs. Her drunk mom does not realize that we know each other and that it is really awkward, so she informs her daughter that we are going to duck. Do not bother us. At this point I would run away, but my brain gave up on me, so he did it. It was fine. We were a bit too drunk. I never spoke to her daughter again. She started walking through different paths with her dog to avoid me. Thank God I do not live there anymore, lol. This was some time ago. I just turned 21. I went out at the stroke of midnight and got hammered. Once I recovered from the shittiest hangover I ever had, I decided it would be a safe play to hang out with my parents since they had a company party at a local pub. My stepmom tells me, hey, have whatever you want to drink, it is your birthday. Well, apparently I did not learn my lesson from the night before, decided to start taking some tequila shots. As I scouted the pub, this place did not really have anyone near my age. I felt out of place, did not really know anyone, so I kept to myself. My stepmother tells me there is a girl that wants to dance with me. I am like, what, there is someone close to my age? Well, I had enough liquid courage, got up and met the girl. Damn, she is a sexy Latina, petite body, beautiful, full lips, nice long slender legs. I am 6'1" and she had to be 5'9". I danced around with her for a bit. Granted, I was a horrible dancer. Managed to conversate with her a bit to find out she is 27, works with my stepmom, and she is a chic major. After a few more drinks, we ended up outside in the parking lot mocking out for a while, till my dad went to his car to get something and saw us. That is when we decided to go somewhere else to have more fun. Once we were done, we went back inside, had a few more drinks and danced some more. We exchanged numbers, then say goodbye at the end of the night, and my parents had to take my drunk ass home. Well, the conversation along the drive home was fun. Dad tells my stepmom about the makeouts as she saw. She giggles. I ask my mom about her and she tells me, oh, she is a 33-year-old nurse, recently single. She gives me this look. What else did you two do? I look at my dad with my drunken face, gave him the wink, and he nodded back. In Wisconsin, USA, there is a water park area called Wisconsin Dells, and one of the water park's resorts is Mount Olympus. They do not have their phone number posted on their website, and it is super hard to find, probably because they want people to reserve online and stay at their hotel instead of calling just for a day pass. Anyways, so I am trying to find their phone number by looking at their Facebook page, and finally find it in a comment written by the official Mount Olympus page. Responding to a stranger asking for their phone number. Well, the phone number that the Mount Olympus comment had written turned out to be the number of a sex hotline. How did I find that out? I called. It was the first sign of a phone number for the water park, and it was one number off. Hello, would you like to meet hot new singles in your area? Is not how I was expecting someone at Mount Olympus to help me get a day pass to ride some go-karts and float in a lazy river. Well, back when Craigslist's casual encounters tab was still a thing, I used to post on there maybe once a week. It was not a regular post, it was like super intricate and different each week. I was on active duty in the USMC at this point of my life. 21, so weekends were always fun and filled with trendy ladies willing to, do the do. Anyhow, I was getting real tired of the regular 20-25-year-olds basic sex, and one day, I had a reply to one of my posts, and she was a godsend. She was this 47-year-old G-MILF, her 20-year-old daughter, who also hot as duck, had a child. Anyway, back to the G-MILF. Her profession, which I will not disclose, was nothing short of awesome and really well paid. Like really well paid. The first time we got together, she bought the hotel room, the meal, the drinks, my gas, etc. Totally a straight sugar mama. Well, long story short, it was awesome, but my dumb stopped talking to her and got in a toxic relationship. I wish I still had her number to this day. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.